back to Introduction to XenApp 6.5, the demo session from Visual Park. This session is organized to just provide you a demonstration how the online sessions are going to work or when you opt for an online training. So let's get started of today's topic, Introduction to XenApp 6.5. XenApp is a product from Citrix. We all know that. We all know that XenApp is a product from Citrix. Citrix got a lot of products. Citrix got a lot of products such as application virtualization product, desktop virtualization product, networking product, hardware virtualization product. So today, in this session, we are going to see what is XenApp and who should take this course and what are the features you get it, what are the advantages you get it when you go with these sessions. So before we begin the session, who is your trainer? So what is my eligibility to train you, to teach you, to say something to you? What is my knowledge about this subject? Of course, the teacher is not me, but again, I am in this industry, IT industry, for the last almost 8 years. I have been dealing with different technologies, different projects, which include implementation, planning, and different level of support, including training. I hold a lot of certification from the IT industry. I am an ITIL version 3 certified, MCSE, MCTS from Microsoft. I am a Citrix certified administrator for XenApp 6.0. I also the next level of certification, Citrix certified advanced administrator for XenApp 6.5. I also hold a couple of certifications from VMware certified professional, VCP 4.0, 5.0. I also work with a lot of different products which I am not certified. Something like Microsoft, which is my favorite subject. I love Microsoft Active Directory, and that is my one of the most interested platform. So I have been with Citrix and VMware for almost 8 years. So I work with these products. So let's see, why are we here? So why did we join to? So why should you join to this Citrix session? So you would be working in a company probably, or you might need to know more about XenApp 6.5 in order to leverage your career, in order to enhance or boost your knowledge, which might give you a better job, or which will help you to perform the current job you do a little more better than the place where you are. So this course probably, or Citrix XenApp course comes in different levels. So we train Citrix XenApp 5.0, Citrix XenApp 6.0, the latest one 6.5. And by completing this course, you will be able to manage session. You will be able to deploy a Citrix XenApp form, for your organization, and you will be learning. You will be going to you'll be getting into a deep dive into these different technologies, which include all the Citrix XenApp components, web interface, license server, application streaming, load manager, Citrix policies, a lot more. I have not mentioned all the topics which we are going to cover throughout this session in this demonstration, in these slides. So I just wanted to give you a basic heads up on the topic which we are going to discuss throughout our session. So what are we going to learn? So what is the intention? I mean, by completing this course, where you will be, so we are going to learn the Citrix XenApp 6.5 administration A20, that is the Citrix examination code IY0A20. So basically the Citrix XenApp 6.5 administration exam is divided into few sessions: Citrix architecture and the installation, and XenApp session management, policies, application, desktop and content, and additional management of XenApp, and managing performance and load, configuring printing and secure web access, publishing application and content, troubleshooting, a lot more. It is not just like installing it and publishing a couple of applications. By completing this, you will have a great idea about the complete Citrix architecture and how these applications, desktop and contents are published for different users in your organization. You may have a user who need more access, more granular access, or more granular control. Let's take an example. I have an organization where I have CEOs, managers, and knowledge workers, the day-to-day employees who the traditional employees who log into office by 9 o'clock and leave office by 5 o'clock. There are employees who completely work from a remote place. There are few users who travel across branch offices. So how does Citrix XenApp 5.0 application virtualization satisfy all your business needs? So we are going to see overall Citrix implementation scope. How do we achieve this implementation? How do we secure your organization and application access? So before we get into this, just wanted to give you one more highlight about the examination pattern. The first examination, by completing this course, you will be eligible to write the first examination, Citrix Certified Administrator, XenApp 6 Administration, IY0A20 examination, as I mentioned before. So this is the first step of Citrix certification world. So anyone who wanted to be a Citrix administrator or a Citrix advanced administrator, enterprise engineer, or even a Citrix integration architect, they need to start from CCA. So CCA is available for Citrix XenApp 5, XenDesktop, and other Citrix product as well, NetScaler, including NetScaler as well. But in this course, we are going to focus on Citrix Certified Administrator series on XenApp 6.5, which will in this course, which I'm going to train you how to build, manage, and manage a Citrix XenApp application virtualization platform for your organizations. Interested in Citrix? Of course, I know that you all are interested in Citrix. That is how you are into this demo. So, what all the information or knowledge you need to have before you start with a Citrix Certified Administrator training? So this is a list which you see that basic configuration knowledge of Windows Server 2008, or preferably Windows Server 2008 R2. Then management of user permissions right in Active Directory, intermediate administration skills, network ports and protocols, firewall concept. How you should also know that how to create an account, how to deal with terminal servers or remote desktop service role, share and share folders, basic database concept, basic experience with XenApp. This looks more and more complicated, I know that, but even if you don't have knowledge about all these components, don't worry, I'm going to train you. I'm going to give you the basic information or the required knowledge on all these components, which include basic of Active Directory. I'm going to demonstrate how to install Active Directory, how to create a user, how to create group, how do you give different permissions to different groups and users, different rights in Active Directory. I'll get you to the intermediate administration skills. So I'm going to, of course, I'm going to explain what is a port and protocols. We have to learn few Citrix port and protocols. We also should have some knowledge about terminal server policies, or what is terminal server, what is remote desktop server role. So we are going to touch that. So in short, I'm going to give you a basic idea about, or a required knowledge about all these items before we start with the Citrix XenApp 6.5 session. CCA objectives. So when you plan to take up the examination after completing this course, your examination cover these topics. Citrix architecture 7% question from licensing and installing XenApp. And if you look at, you will see that 14%, 16%, 14%. I mean, these are all different percentage where Citrix prepare their questionnaire for a candidate who go to a Prometric or Pearson View Center and take up the examination. A lot more. This is just a brief idea about it. I mean, Citrix can change this at any point of time, and there are variations in these questions and answers, of course. So, get ready to be a CCA. The green light is on. So, are you interested? If interested, I'll take you through a small demonstration session and see how it goes forward. For the purpose of this demonstration, I have created a small lab. One is an Active Directory server and one is a Citrix XenApp 6.5 server. So your lab will be, I'm not going to perform any big practicals at this point of time. I just wanted to show you how your lab will look like, how you are going to learn about it. So for this training purpose, I will create my own lab. I'll create my own lab lab here. So right now what you see is a Citrix XenApp 6.5 installation. So if you look at that, this completed the installation. I'm going to show you all this installation. Don't worry about it. This lab is just set up for this demo purpose. So I'm not going to train you something technically at this point of time. I just wanted to give you a feel about how an online sessions are going forward. So there are different reasons you learn Citrix, but let me talk about a little more in depth about the trainings and the curriculum and the methodology we follow in Visual Work. There are different, basically there are different reasons for coming into a Citrix or any other product training. So first of all, you might be working as an administrator, Citrix XenApp administrator, or a Citrix administrator in your organization, and you might be performing L1 and L2 sort of activities, administration in your organization. You may wanted to get into a bit more knowledge and get into the next level of administration, L3 or L4 level of administration, or probably you wanted to design, or you wanted to have a knowledge to design a Citrix XenApp farm for the organization, publish application, which you might need to run into a proof of concept environment or into a production environment. Or if you are a person who really wanted to learn a bit about it, of course, learning is always good, and learning for multiple different purposes. You are always welcome to this training, and this training is purely designed for that sort of people who really want to learn a little more about a product, or learn something from scratch. Let's say that I'm a person come up and say that I don't know anything about Citrix, but I would like to learn about this technology. Yes, this training is really for you. Now, as I said, I just set up a small lab here. If you look at my screen, you can see this is my Active Directory server. It is running on a Windows Server 2008 R2 operating systems. and with very limited configuration. If you look at it, you can see that it's 512 MB of RAM with one core CPU. So I just prepared a lab, and I mean the lab. Let me talk about the lab before we get into the technical aspects of it. So how do I prepare my lab? I have a capable server here in my lab. So I create virtual machines on that. Basically, one Active Directory server, one Windows 7 or Windows XP machine, and 3 Citrix XenApp servers. So by having these setup in my lab, I'll be able to demonstrate all the practical, all the trainings which is required for SCCA examination. I also have a web server which hosts your Citrix XenApp website. I also have a license server which carry all your Citrix XenApp licenses. So I have a good infrastructure here, but don't worry if you don't have an infrastructure. Let's say that a person come up and say that I have only 4 GB RAM and a Core i3 processor. Well, good. That is more than enough for you to set up a Citrix XenApp lab by your own, probably at your home or your workplace. You can set up a small lab if you have 4 GB of RAM and Core i3 or i5 processor. So I'll help you out to set up your own personal lab at your workplace and your house. I'll give you through all the steps to create, set up, and do all the practicals. That will help you out in as soon as you complete the course, or once you start following this course, you can do all the practicals parallelly or along with me, so that whenever you get into any issues, if you come across any doubt throughout this training session, you can always bring it to my attention, and we'll try to resolve it in the first point. So the learning takes place in such a way where we do everything practically. So it is when I say we do everything practically, I wanted to emphasize that this is completely 101% practical orient sessions. So there are no big theories, there are no big bang theories which I'm going to speak here, which I'm going to say blah 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 and you listen it and just go back and say that. No, it's not like that. We do theory session, parallelly we do the practical for that. So everything will be, each and every step, everything will be done practically in front of you, demonstrate successfully. I help you out to create and perform the same lab at your own workstation or your own office. So I mean, again, this is a competitive world. I mean, very competitive world, and it is necessary for organization to take the advantage of every opportunity. Now, if you look into the job market, now I am a Windows administrator. Well, let's just imagine I am a Windows administrator. I'm looking for a change. I'm looking for a better job. I'm looking for a better salary. Of course, I'm looking for a better salary. So what makes you special from the other candidate? Well, when you go for an interview, you will have probably the company have 1 position or 2 positions. You will have 30 to 40 people who normally appear for these interviews. So what makes you special out of these 40 people or 30 people, and what help you to get into the right job and with the right, of course, right salary. So this is your edge on, or your knowledge on a technology. And if you decided, if you really want to get a better job and a better salary, of course Citrix is one of the best technology you can opt at this point of time. The reason behind, all Fortune 500 companies, all CMM i5 companies has this product, that is Citrix application virtualization. If you look at any financial organization throughout the world, they all operate over Citrix XenApp XenApp, any version probably they might not use 6.5. This is the latest product, but of course they have Presentation Server 4 or Presentation Server 4.5, XenApp 5 or XenApp 6, any version of Citrix. So your opportunity, your chances to get a better job is assured if you learn Citrix in a better way with all required administration skills. Now, another point of another strategy behind or another reason behind learning Citrix XenApp 6.5. Apart from this job opportunity and getting a better salary, of course, that is most important. But again, I see practically I have worked with lot of projects throughout my career. So I started working as a L2 administrator in Citrix, then L3. Then I got a chance to work with different projects which include a lot of implementation, which include a lot of designing. So throughout my my experience, throughout my career, what I observed is a person who works on Citrix, and I don't see 99% or probably 99.9% of Citrix XenApp administrators does not have in-depth knowledge about the product. So I don't say that everybody. I'm sure that there are a lot of good administrators, but most of Citrix administrators, the reason behind the lack of knowledge, what I observe, they do not have a learning strategy with them. I mean, when I say learning strategy, you really require a learning strategy when you go for Citrix studies. It is not only Citrix. If you take any product, either Microsoft, VMware, or any product, when you take, you really require a step-by-step method of learning in order to gain complete idea or complete knowledge or the core knowledge of the topic. And I see that a lot of people, they learn by themselves. I mean, that is really appreciable. They start working with Google and they create their own lab and they they start multiple practical. They end up with a lot of issues. They learn themselves. But the problem, when you learn by yourself, you learn a lot. Of course, I agree that. But when you learn by yourself, you are going to miss the core component or the architecture. Probably I see the most of time what I see in candidates or the students or the employees, they do not have the core idea how how a product altogether deliver a result. So that they are lacking in that point. So once you have that in your hand, if you know that how do you deliver an application virtualization platform to a group of users or an organization, if you have that platform, then it is in your hand. Citrix is in your hand. It is very small topic, very easy topic, and very interesting topic if you are really looking into Citrix. Let's get started into practical. So I mean, I have been talking recent behind learning Citrix. So just wanted to demonstrate you how a Citrix XenApp lab I'm going to prepare for your demonstration. So if you look at this, as I said, I have an Active Directory server. I have, I'm going to demonstrate a real scenario in the sense, of course, I will not have 20,000, 30,000 users in my Active Directory. I will not have the number of organizational unit security group which is required for a real organizational work. But probably I'm going to strip down or reduce the number of objects, but I always try to replicate or always try to copy something from an actual environment into my lab, so that as soon as you complete, as soon as you go through the session, I will explore you, I will take you through the day-to-day issues, So whenever, let's take an example, when you install a web interface, one important component of Citrix XenApp 5, when you install it, what are the problems you encounter it? So what are the options you have? So let's say that you get a connection through a netted firewall. So how do you establish that connection from an internet to a web interface? So I'm going to take you through all these day-to-day activities with all the components and all the possible issues. Of course, we all know that, so we will not be able to resolve all the issues which actually happened in a real environment. So we have very limited scope, but again, I'm going to tell you all the good known, I mean, probably all the recurring issues in an environment, so that you will have an idea about troubleshooting by end of this session. So as I said, yes, this is my lab, this is my domain, ppxlab.com. So in the domain I have, then I have I have users here. I have different users group, and these all are for different purpose. So probably when we go to an actual session, I'll be explaining you how to create a user. I'm sure that almost all of you have a good idea about Active Directory and Windows Server management. But again, this is my duty for the structure of this training include a basic idea about Active Directory. You don't have to be a good Active Directory administrator. Practically speaking, most of Citrix XenApp or Citrix application virtualization administrator do not have much knowledge about Windows Active Directory. And yes, there are exceptions, but it is 60% of Citrix XenApp administrator at this point do not have much knowledge in Active Directory. But if you have a good knowledge about Active Directory, that makes you a perfect Citrix XenApp administrator. Let's move into one of our Citrix XenApp server. Now, let me demonstrate to you a small practical how to configure your Citrix XenApp. Now, this installation is almost completed. Before we start the session, I have completed this installation. I created a virtual machine. If you look into this server configuration, I have 1.5 GB of RAM and two processors for this virtual machine, and this is running on a Windows Server 2008 R2. So I'm not getting into much technical, but again, just wanted to remind you all who watches this demonstration that Citrix XenApp 6.5 can only be installed on Windows Server 2008 R2 operating system. Now, installation is completed. As I said before we start this training session, I have completed the installation. Now, let me go to one component of it called license server. I'm going to configure the license server. So license server configure. As I said, don't confuse, don't panic. This is just for demonstration to let you know how practicals are carried out in this session. So at this license server configuration tool, or I need to provide a password for license server. I'm just providing a password. Just click OK. Your license server initial configuration has been completed. We have a lot to do with the license server. We will log into license server. There is a separate console in the server for license management console. We will log into license server management console. I'll demonstrate and explain you how to get Citrix license and how to upload your Citrix license into license server, and how do you provide your license server information into your Citrix XenApp session. Before we proceed, let me take you to one another side and tell you about a little more about 6.5. So this is another slide which I'm going to take you for this demonstration. Just wanted to show you that what is new in XenApp 6.5. So in this slide, it is clearly says and explains that which XenApp 6 or 6.5 is going to support. So I have this sort of slides, presentations, which I'm going to open for each and every session we conduct here. At the end of the session, I'm going to forward you. I'm going to email you these slides. You you may work with this slide. I have some PDF which I have created, my own PDF. I'm going to share with you at the end of the session. Now your license server is configured. We'll come back. Now your license server is configured. I'm going to specify the licensing. So which is your license server? I have a license server. I can either enter the IP address or the fully qualified domain name. So next, I do not have valid license, product license available on this server. I know that. I'll continue that. In later session, I'm going to show you how to download the license and upload in your license server. So let's select the model now. I'm going to select XenApp model for this demonstration. So XenApp licensing has been configured. Now let me go back to a XenApp configuration. So how do you configure your Citrix XenApp after installing it? I'm going to demonstrate you that. So I know that there are a lot of information, lot of terminology you should be familiar before we start with this practical. But keeping all these possibilities, keeping all that hurdles aside, I just wanted to, as I repeatedly say, I just wanted to demonstrate a practical which will help you out to understand how the practicals are carried out in an online session. So I'm going to create a new server farm since I don't have an existing farm. I'm going to name my farm here. I'll name it as Learn Farm. And this is the Citrix administrator account, domain account, which will have complete administrative power when you set up a farm. I'm okay with that. This is created for that. So I have two options. We all know that, or probably you might not aware that Citrix XenApp or Citrix application virtualization require a database. And Citrix called it as a data store. So what is a data store? Data store is a database which stores a relatively static information in your farm. When I say relatively static information in your farm, which include the number of servers or server listings, which include the administrator name, which include the permission, which include the list of or number of application which is published, which include the user permission to application and desktop. So a lot of chunk, or probably the information which are more static or relatively static. So all these informations are kept under this database. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to select a new database. I have not prepared a SQL server. I'm going to install my Citrix XenApp server on a SQL Server 2008 R2 Express Edition. So the username and password to connect your database. The next, shadowing. So what is shadowing? Shadowing is a method, it's an administrative method of taking remote control of user session or application for troubleshooting. Let's say that I have a user in Shanghai reporting an issue with a published application, for an example Excel. Of course, we all know that it is not possible to go Shanghai and troubleshoot it and come back. So we need a mechanism, we need a tool which connect user session or user Excel sheet and see what actually the issue is. So it depends upon that I'll be able to troubleshoot from the server end or a session end or an ICA part. So I really need to understand the issue. So I need to take the remote control of user session or application. So shadowing is a tool available in Citrix XenApp 6.5. Not only 6.5, if you look at the earlier version of Citrix, 5 or 6 or 4.5 or 4, all the versions got this tool. So which help, this is an administrative tool which help administrator take a remote control of the user PC, or more granular, more in-depth a user application or a session. I say next, the problem with shadowing, if you prohibit shadowing at this point of time, you will now be able to enable it later. Shadowing, as I said, if you prohibit the shadowing here, you will have to reinstall your Citrix XenApp server in order to get your shadowing back. So there are countries which does not let an administrator to shadow the user. So that is the rule of the land. So in that case, probably we will have to prohibit, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm allowing the shadowing. Data collection. Well, we have another concept in Citrix called zone. What is a zone? So this all will be discussed before we get into this practical again. But again, I just wanted to give you a small introduction about zone. Let me take you to a one node. Let me create a new node. This is my organization. This is my organization, and I have a branch office at US. I have another branch office. I have my headquarters at UK. I have another branch office at Shanghai. I have 20 Citrix servers here. I have 30 Citrix servers here. I have 100 Citrix servers here. And all comes under a single administrative boundary that is called farm. Farm is nothing but a collection of Citrix XenApp 6.5 servers in our example. So zones are geographically classified. So when I am going to call it as a US zone, I'm going to call it as a UK zone, I'm going to call it as a Shanghai zone. Zone contains zone data collector. A lot of stuff, lot of technical stuff which I'm not getting into. Right now, I would like to give this zone as Shanghai zone. The initial zone name which I'm going to create is Shanghai. Apply. So this configuration, whatever I just perform now, will install Microsoft SQL Express to create your Citrix data store on that. After creating the data store on that, it is going to initialize and start Citrix IMA service. IMA service, Independent Management Architecture Service, one of the most important services in Citrix, or rather it is known as the backbone of Citrix communication. So IMA service, if IMA service is stopped on a Citrix XenApp server, the IMA service is not started, that is not qualified as a Citrix XenApp server. If IMA service is stopped, the server is dead. So in short, so what I wanted to convey you that with this demonstration, the practicals are carried out in such a way, probably a little more elaborative, or whenever you have some questions or whenever you have some doubt, we get time to discuss in between. That is of course the second part, but little more elaborative and little more knowledgeable, whatever you see at this point. So by having this, just wanted to recap whatever we discussed now. So we just discussed about, or probably we might not discuss much on technical part. Just wanted, as I said, probably I keep on telling, I just wanted to demonstrate the possibility, and will give you a feel about how you are going to learn rather than what you are going to learn. So this demonstration, just wanted to conclude in such a way, will provide you a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation with each and every theory class with 101% of lab and practical, and a little more about the online training. So my experience on this training, I have been training Citrix, different Citrix product for different purposes. Different purposes in the sense I also do classroom trainings. I do corporate trainings for different companies. So I train. I started my training from Presentation Server 4, but the first, Presentation Server 4 was the first product which I started training from Citrix. But I also trained MetaFrame XP, Presentation Server 4, 4.5. So later on, all the products, XenApp 5, XenApp 6, and now XenApp 6.5. I also trained desktop virtualization product from Citrix, that is Citrix XenDesktop 5.6. I also trained Citrix NetScaler Access Gateway 9.0 and 9.3, the different 9.x. I'm a trainer for VMware VCP, VCP 4.0, 5.0. So basically, I love training. I love imparting the knowledge. So this is one way I learn, and I use this knowledge and information in my workplace as well. So any doubt, any point of time, you can always email me at learncitrix@yahoo.com. Your questions, if you come across any questions, any doubt regarding the training session or after the training session, anytime you can mail me at learncitrix@yahoo.com. So once you complete, you take up a course from Visual Path. So I'm going to be your Citrix XenApp 6.5 or probably 5 or 6 trainer, and that give you an eligibility to attend more than 1 or 2 sessions. Probably if you complete XenApp 6.5 one time successfully and you wish to continue it again for one more time, you are always welcome. For learning purpose, if you want to attend a class more than 1 or 2 times, or if you miss a couple of classes in one training and you wanted to cover it in next training, yes, you are welcome. You can attend as many sessions you wish to attend. So we always encourage people, those who come in front to learn more than one time, and of course, so this is what I wanted to convey you through this training session. As I said, email me for any queries at learncitrix@yahoo.com. Also, this query should be related to technical doubts, not about course joining or any other stuff. Thank you for watching this.